Welcome back, everyone, to episode 9 of our podcast. Today, we are diving into a topic that lies at the very foundation of everything we do, yet it is something we rarely pay conscious attention to. We are talking about the secret conversations you have with yourself every single day, the art of self-talk, and how it can either completely destroy or build unshakable confidence in your life.
Yes, it is incredibly fascinating when you think about it. We speak to ourselves more than we speak to any other human being on this planet. Yet, the tone we use, the words we choose, and the stories we tell ourselves are often so harsh that we would never, ever say them to a friend. Today, we want to show you how to audit your inner voice, silence your inner critic, and build a mind that supports you instead of dragging you down.
Whether you are trying to speak English with confidence, trying to step up in your career, or simply wanting to feel more secure in your daily life, this episode is going to give you the psychological tools to transform your mindset.
So eliminate all distractions around you, grab your favorite drink, and let's master the language of self-confidence together.
Before we break open our very first psychological block, please take a quick second to hit that subscribe button right below. Join our growing community and turn on notifications so you never miss our weekly episodes designed to boost both your English fluency and your mental growth.
Your likes, comments, and subscriptions are the heartbeat of this show. They tell the YouTube algorithm that this content is valuable, helping us reach and help thousands of learners worldwide. So show us some love and let's jump right in.
Let's start by defining what the inner critic actually is. Psychologically, it's that nagging voice inside your head that constantly points out your flaws, doubts your abilities, and warns you of failure before you even try. For English learners, it's the voice that whispers, "Your accent is terrible. Everyone is going to laugh at you, so just stay quiet." We must realize that this critic is not the truth. It is merely an overprotective mechanism of your brain trying to keep you safe from social rejection.
That is a brilliant way to frame it. The brain's primary job is survival, not happiness. It would rather keep you safe and comfortable in your shell than let you take a risk and feel embarrassed. But when we accept that critic's voice as absolute truth, we end up living a very small life. The key is to stop trying to fight or erase this voice and instead learn to acknowledge it. Say, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I've got this," and take action anyway.
The science behind this is absolutely mind-blowing. Our brains possess a quality called neuroplasticity, which means our thoughts physically shape and wire our neural pathways. Every time you repeat a negative thought, like, "I am bad at this," you are physically strengthening a pathway in your brain that makes that belief feel like reality. Conversely, when you consciously practice positive, constructive self-talk, you physically rebuild your brain to recognize opportunities instead of threats.
It literally means that your brain is like a muscle and your words are the workout. If you feed it trash, negative thoughts, and constant self-doubt, you are training it to be weak and anxious. But if you deliberately feed it encouraging, realistic, and growth-oriented vocabulary, you are constructing a bulletproof mindset. You aren't just changing your mood, you are quite literally changing the physical biology of your brain.
Have you ever felt like a complete fraud? Like, despite your achievements, you've just been lucky, and eventually, everyone is going to find out you aren't actually qualified? That is called imposter syndrome, and it affects some of the most successful people in the world. The irony is that the more competent you are, the more likely you are to experience it, because you are aware of how much you still have to learn.
Exactly. And the trap of imposter syndrome is that it makes you feel completely isolated, as if you are the only one struggling. We have to change the dialogue here. When that feeling of being an imposter creeps in, instead of letting it paralyze you, treat it as proof that you are pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. If you never feel it, it probably means you are playing it too safe. Realize that everyone is figuring it out as they go, and you belong in the room just as much as anyone else.
So, how do we actively change this internal dialogue? We use a powerful cognitive behavioral tool called cognitive reframing. This is the practice of identifying a negative, self-limiting thought and actively translating it into a constructive, realistic one. For example, instead of saying, "I totally messed up that presentation, I'm a failure," you reframe it to, "That presentation didn't go perfectly, but now I know exactly what to improve for next time."
This is an absolute superpower. It's not about toxic, blind positivity where you pretend everything is perfect. It is about objective reality. Saying, "I'm a failure," is a dead end. Your brain shuts down. Reframing it into, "This was a lesson. What can I learn?" immediately shifts your brain into problem-solving mode. You turn a stumbling block into a stepping stone simply by changing the vocabulary of your inner dialogue.
If there is one single word you should add to your daily vocabulary to completely shift your mindset, it is the word yet. It is a tiny 3-letter word, but it holds massive psychological power. Whenever you catch yourself saying, "I can't speak English fluently," or "I don't know how to code," simply add yet to the end of the sentence. "I can't speak English fluently yet."
That is pure gold. The word yet instantly opens up a bridge of possibility. It takes a static, fixed belief of failure and turns it into a dynamic journey of growth. It tells your brain that where you are right now is not your final destination. It acknowledges your current limitation, but validates your future potential, completely shifting your mental state from defeat to determination.
In the age of social media, our self-talk is heavily poisoned by the comparison trap. We scroll through Instagram or LinkedIn, seeing everyone else's highlight reels, their perfect vacations, promotions, and achievements. And then we look at our own behind-the-scenes struggles and feel completely inadequate.
It is a totally unfair game. You are comparing your messy, real, everyday life to someone else's carefully curated, filtered, and edited best moments. The only healthy comparison is comparing yourself today to who you were yesterday. If you are even 1% better, wiser, or more resilient than you were last month, you are winning. Focus entirely on your own lane and let your self-talk celebrate your personal progress.
Most people think confidence starts in the mind, but it actually works both ways. Your body can reprogram your mind. There is a fascinating connection between physical posture and brain chemistry. When you stand tall, pull your shoulders back, and make eye contact, your brain receives physical signals that you are safe and in control.
Absolutely. If you slouch, look down, and make yourself physically small, your body produces cortisol, the stress hormone, which triggers anxious, fearful thoughts. Before any high-pressure situation, like an interview or a presentation, take 2 minutes to stand in a powerful open posture. By physically acting confident, you actually trigger your brain to release testosterone and lower cortisol, making you feel genuinely calmer and more assured.
Another incredibly powerful tool that top athletes, performers, and CEOs use is creative visualization. Our brains have trouble telling the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. If you constantly visualize yourself failing, stuttering, or getting rejected, you are mentally practicing failure.
But if you take just a few minutes every morning to close your eyes and vividly visualize yourself performing confidently, hearing yourself speak clearly, seeing people react positively, and feeling the satisfaction of success, you are building a mental blueprint. When the actual event happens, your brain recognizes it as a familiar, safe situation, dramatically lowering your anxiety levels.
No matter how confident you are, you will eventually face external criticism or negative comments from others.
If your self-worth is entirely dependent on external validation, your confidence will be on a permanent roller coaster. You have to develop a mental filter that separates constructive feedback from empty hate.
I always say, never take criticism from someone you wouldn't go to for advice. If someone is criticizing you out of jealousy or their own insecurities, their opinion is completely irrelevant. But if a trusted mentor gives you constructive feedback, view it as a gift to help you grow. Learn to hold your self-worth close to you, and don't let external opinions dictate how you speak to yourself.
Finally, to permanently solidify your new positive self-talk, you must build a habit of tracking your wins. At the end of every single day, write down 3 small victories. It could be as simple as, I spoke English for 5 minutes today, I woke up on time, or I handled a difficult email calmly.
This is so important because our brains are naturally wired with a negativity bias. We remember our mistakes forever and forget our achievements within 5 minutes. By physically writing down your daily wins, you force your brain to search for and focus on your progress. Over time, this builds an undeniable stack of evidence that proves you are capable, strong, and constantly growing.
The way you speak to yourself matters more than you will ever know. It sets the boundary for your potential, your happiness, and your future. So start being kinder to yourself. Use the power of yet and watch your entire life transform.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us for episode 9. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway from today's session. Practice your English by writing down one of your wins. Keep shining, and we will see you next week for another life-changing episode.